And Chairperson McCandless, we are live.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. We'll go ahead and hand it over to our clerk, Stephanie Townsend, to call roll and give us an announcement.
Okay. Member Morris?
Present.
Member Reisig?
Here.
Chairperson McCandless?
Here.
And you have a quorum. And with that, I will read the announcement. In compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, this meeting is live streamed and closed to the public. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. To make a verbal comment at today's meeting, dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in the queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. When I open public comment for a specific item or off-agenda matter, you will be transferred from the queue and into the meeting to make your verbal comment. Written comments are always accepted. Send your email comment to boardclerk@saccounty.net. Your comment will be routed to the council and filed for the record.
Thank you. All right, welcome to tonight's meeting and thank you for attending. My name is Chris McCandless. I am the Vice Chairperson for the Rio Linda Elverta Community Planning Advisory Council, also known as the Rio Linda Elverta CPAC. The CPAC members are volunteer citizens appointed by the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors. The councils shall be advisory only to county agencies. The purpose of the CPAC is to encourage citizen participation in the planning processes, provide local forums to develop and propose community goals and objects, to serve as a local sounding board for new proposals offered by county staff and to assist the county planning agencies and the Board of Supervisors in carrying out approved community plans and county's general plan. The function of the CPAC may include updating community goals and plans, develop and propose community improvement programs, review and comment upon proposed amendments to the general plan, specific plan, zoning changes, conditional use permits, and related zoning matters. Advisory recommendations are forwarded to hearing bodies, including the zoning administrator, the subdivision review committee, the county planning commission, and the Board of Supervisors. Our meetings are always open to the public and are listed in local neighborhood newspapers, posted at libraries and meeting sites. Courtesy notices are mailed to the property owners with 500 feet of the project based on the address on record and posted on the county's website. All right. With that, I believe we can go ahead.
Okay.
That brings us to item number one.
Item number one is the Rothery Accessory Dwelling Unit located at 5905 22nd Street in the Rio Linda, Elverta community. Your request is for a special development permit.
Good evening. This is David Ulrey, the staff planner for this project. This is the 5905 22nd Street Accessory Dwelling Unit project. Next slide, please. So the project is located south of the intersection of 22nd Street and East Street on the west of 22nd Street and south of Robula Creek. And the request is special development permit exceed the 1,000 square foot maximum square footage permitted for a detached accessory dwelling unit. The proposed is 1,197 square feet. Next slide, please.
This is Hal. Can I interrupt for just a minute?
Oh, sure.
I have a question. When did they change it back from 1,200 feet to 1,000 feet?
So you mean the actual requirement, or?
Yeah, it used to be the state of California a few years back changed it to 1,200 square feet, which is what we've been following here in Rio Linda. So I didn't know that the state of California changed it back to 1,000 feet from 1,200 feet.
So it's been 1,200, but our zoning code has the maximum 1,000. So it's always been where you can go up to 1,200 with a special development permit. But in no can you go greater than 1,200 square feet. So we wouldn't be able to have a special development permit to exceed the 1,200 square foot.
Right. Isn't this 1,197, which is less than 1,200 feet?
Correct, but there's two different standards. There's the state requirement of 1,200 for the government code, and then there's also a zoning code, which limits them to the 1,000 square feet without a special development permit. But if they're less than 1,000 square feet, it's kind of a by right application. So they wouldn't have to go before the CPAC or get any special kind of a permit.
Okay, I guess I'm confused because we've always approved accessory dwelling permits. Are you saying this is a different type permit now, special development,
So
not accessory permit?
So this is a special development permit to exceed that 1,000 square foot. So basically, everything that you guys see is over the 1,000 square foot maximum. If it were less than 1,000 square feet, it would not be required to go before the CPAC. So it would be consistent with the zoning. So the state of California allows accessory dwelling units up to 1,200 square feet, so we can approve this pursuant to that. But ultimately is triggered by 1,000 square foot that our zoning code does, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the property is currently developed with an existing 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom single-family residence, which was completed in 2019. And the property parallels Robla Creek to the north with McClellan Park to the south. Next slide, please. Here's the site plan. Just to note on this, originally the application was for an home plan. Staff worked with the applicant to have the floor plan modified so it would be secondary to the primary, as well as having the orientation of the secondary unit shifted away from the street because they were kind of lining up right in a row there. Next slide, please. And here are the proposed elevations and colors and materials. Next slide, please. And here are the remaining elevations. And next slide. And here we have the floor plan. Next slide. So key points, the property is located in the AR2 zone. The proposed unit is 1,197 square feet. It meets all accessory unit development standards aside from the footage maximum. And staff to reorient the unit from the original proposal to be offset from our. And next slide. And that concludes my presentation. I'm here for questions. The applicant is also on.
Yes, I'm here. I'm James Rothery. I'm here.
Did you have anything to add for us for this project before we start asking you questions?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I probably do have one thing to add. I've never been before CPAC, so I really don't know what your jurisdiction is. Can you tell me what your job is as CPAC?
Our job is basically to act as a go-between for the members of the community. They come to us with their building desires, essentially, and then we can make recommendations to the county, and the county takes the CPAC's voice into consideration before making decisions.
I would like you to, that makes sense to me. I would like to ask you to make a recommendation to the county, and let me tell you what that recommendation is. I am asking for permission to build an 1,197 square foot house as an accessory dwelling unit on a 6-acre parcel. This is a 6-acre parcel in Rio Linda. I filed my application for this I think about 2 weeks short of a year ago. So it's been quite a long process. And I repeat, I've never done this before. I'm still learning what this procedure is. I just learned yesterday that I have to get a surveyor or an engineer to approve a topographical map of my 6-acre parcel, in addition to certifying that this is a legal lot. Now, this is a legal lot that it was put on a 1925 subdivision map, and it's the original parcel that was put on that 1925 subdivision map. That, since it was a subdivision map filed in the county recorder's office, I'm assuming that it was signed by the county's authorized people. The county authorized people approved it. So I got notification yesterday that I have to do a certificate of compliance saying that it's a legal lot, plus I have to hire a licensed surveyor or a civil engineer to approve, to sign a topographical map. Now, in my mind, I might be all wet, but in my mind, I'm thinking that is a lot to do for a little bitty house on a 6-acre parcel in Rio Linda. What my request is that you guys, the CPAC committee, would recommend to the county that not be required. And that's my request and my presentation. Now, I've never done this before, and maybe that's standard practice, but it seems overkill to me, a novice in this business. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's standard practice.
This is David Ulrich from
He had the power to do anything about that.
I'm not. Well, whether you have the power or not, if you can make a recommendation, and maybe the government will listen to you.
The county needs to answer this first before the CPAC weighs in.
The county's already
I can answer that.
They've given me directives. I'm hoping you guys will say that's overkill for a little bitty house on a 6-acre parcel.
County staff that's here now is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I'll listen and stop talking.
This is David Ulrich with planning. So this is actually something that's coming from, and they have a legal requirement pursuant to the Government Code Subdivision Map Act. They don't really have an out, unfortunately. State statute.
I think what you're saying, what the requirement is to do that certificate of compliance. Up until a few years ago, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that was done for a lot less than the $800 I'm being requested for now. Plus, I wonder if a topographical map signed off by a surveyor or engineer is really required or not in the state code?
Well, sir, that's a question that the CPAC cannot answer for you. Perhaps
Okay.
the Planning Commission or the state's website can. And I
Okay.
hear you, and I sympathize greatly with your position. It is not easy for us residential homeowners to be able to do anything with our property. And here, my seat on CPAC, I'm trying to help make that a little bit easier, but I'm just a neighbor. You know, I live in Rio Linda myself, and I'm just trying to see our town grow. And I wish that it wasn't so difficult. I really do. But unfortunately, like I said, CPAC can't do anything about that except for make recommendations about the stuff that we're actually voting about.
I know you can't make a rule, but I know you can make I assume you can make a recommendation.
Yes.
We can say,
Okay.
hey, this kind of stuff might be cool, and maybe they'll listen. But I
Okay.
think a lot of
That's
this
all
stuff
I ask.
is
That's
okay.
all I ask.
Members Reisig and Morris, do you guys have any comments or questions?
This is Hal. I have first I have a couple questions. One for county. Is this something that gets triggered when the permit is applied for? The topographical map?
Yeah, so I'm going to speak from my experience and my limited news section. But this is something that is triggered due to the entitlement. And it is a requirement that surveys has really had to apply.
So it's when he bought property or when he applied for the permit, or none of that matters.
David, if I could just jump in really quick. This is Kimber. I'm also a county planner. So the requirement for a certificate of compliance is something that the survey section does on a regular basis. It is definitely a standard requirement, and it is to ensure that the parcel was lawfully created and was in compliance with the Subdivision Map Act, as David said. So definitely understand the frustration, but it would be something that would need to be addressed through county engineering in order for him to kind of figure that out. But it is, since he did apply for the special development permit, which is a discretionary action, that does open up. We do route out these projects to a number of different departments, and they do have the ability to comment and require conditions of approval. So that is where this certificate of compliance requirement is coming from.
So follow-up question, wouldn't all his surrounding neighbors have to do the same thing?
Yes, but they would only be required to do it if they came in for a discretionary project.
They applied for a permit.
Correct.
Okay, that's I think what I kind of asked if the permit triggered it. So the permit application actually did trigger it.
Yes, and I'm sure other types of applications do trigger it as well, but definitely a discretionary action such as the special development permit does trigger that requirement.
Okay, and it doesn't it sounds like he was just recently told he had to do that, opposed to when he applied for the permit.
I'm not sure, David, if you can. Do you know?
Yeah, so,
I did my application.
I'm not sure. I was just going to say, I was recently assigned this project.
Okay, because I know when
they did not receive the same.
Okay, this is Hal again. When the applicant applied for the permit, he would have gotten a checklist that eventually he went through with a planner or somebody at the planning desk, correct?
Yeah, so Hal, this is Chris Bahuli. So I just joined and am catching up on the conversation. Again, Chris Bahuli, principal planner with the current planning section. So yeah, typically when a application is received and when the project has been determined to be complete, or the application has been determined to be complete, it does move on to what we call our project distribution and then project review committee, in which case our surveys department and our survey section in our engineering department would have reviewed the request and would have requested the certificate of compliance. So that's the phase where that request would have been made.
So it would have come after the original checklist. That's why he's getting it now, and he didn't get it when he first applied, right?
Yeah, it's made at the time a complete application determination is made. Correct.
Okay. And is there? Okay, so I have a reason or another. I'm trying to figure this out. If the original plot map, topographical map or top plot map, whatever it was called, was filed back in 1925, is there a real reason why it's changed since then?
This is James Rother. I can answer those questions. The original subdivision map was filed in 1925, showing the property, the 6-acre parcel, which I bought about 2 years ago. When I bought the property about 2 years ago, I was, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. I don't remember when, but I was thinking of doing a parcel map and splitting this 6-acre parcel into smaller parcels. One of the things I did was I hired a licensed surveyor to do a topographical map, and I gave that to the planning department in anticipation of a parcel map. I later decided not to do that. I went ahead and I built a main dwelling house, which I finished about a year ago, and then last, and this is from memory, but last February 14, I believe, 2020, I filed with the planning department a request to do an accessory dwelling unit. Yesterday, I received by email a letter dated October 30, 2020, from, I think, the county's, from a county office, which informed me that I had to do two things. First, I had to get a certificate of compliance stating that the 6-acre parcel, which I bought a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, is a legal lot. Now, that confused me because that's on a 1925 subdivision map, which has already been signed off by the county. Now, the explanation was that in 1929, the law said that any parcels created before that date of 1929 had to have a certificate of compliance. That's how I understand it. My second question is that topographical map, which I had submitted about 3 or 4 years ago, plus or minus, I don't remember when, the county official who told me I had to get the certificate of compliance also said that I have to, as a condition for getting that certificate of compliance saying it's a legal lot, is also saying that that topographical map, which I submitted to the county in consideration of a parcel map, of doing a parcel map, which I later decided not to do. Now, to get the certificate of compliance to get permission to do this accessory dwelling unit, they somehow brought that parcel, that topographical map, and said, we want you to get a licensed surveyor to say that this topographical map is accurate and current today. So two things that a county official is requesting. Did you have any other questions for me?
Well, because what they told you is that the map that you turned in a couple years ago is not good anymore?
No. What they said was, of the two things that were asked in the letter dated October 30, which I received yesterday by email, of the two things they requested to me, one thing was they said, have a licensed surveyor sign the topographical map, which was submitted approximately 3 or 4 years ago, I don't remember when, which I submitted in anticipation of doing a parcel map. They're saying, have a licensed surveyor sign this map, certifying that it's accurate. And I'm scratching my head as to why that's required.
Well, is the guy who did it still around?
Well, the letter was dated October 30, which is 2 or 3 months ago.
The guy that did your map originally, is he still?
No. The county official that signed that letter signed it October 30. The surveyor who did my map, the topographical map, is dead and cannot sign it. I would have to hire another licensed surveyor, and he would probably want to somehow verify that the work is correct and was done properly, is my suspicion.
Which is a lot more money.
How is it?
So,
How can somebody buy a
Can I
piece of
jump in
property
really-
if it's not a legit property? I don't understand that. Like, why is this?
Oh, I think
parcel?
so. This is Chris Bahuli again, principal planner. I mean, I think it happens quite often. I think that this CPAC just heard an item, a couple months ago on that 624 Elkhorn property.
Which we
where-
hear again tonight.
Right. And so, right. So, I mean, it does happen quite often that that property is divided that is not consistent with the Subdivision Map Act.
This property is not divided. This is the 6-acre parcel as put on an original subdivision map that was signed off by a county engineer when the map was filed. The county approved it already.
Sure. And so I think what I wanted to just bring up is that, there is processes that we have, and there's the ability to kind of continue to work with the engineering department to address conditions related to the request. And so, that's kind of the appropriate venue to have those conversations. In terms of the conversation this evening, it's really to look at the request and the compatibility with the community's input on that request.
Okay, this is Hal again. This is Hal. There's a couple things. One is Chris was right about this CPAC. We do hear things that if we can help our community and, of course, abide by the county rules, but if we can help members of our community with problems that they may have, whether it looking if there's a way to grandfather something, if there's a way to waive permits or fees, then this CPAC has a right to request whether it can be done or not. We can recommend or request that maybe something like that could be done. The second thing, it would seem that before we hear this tonight about the dwelling, which I don't have a problem with that, is it seems like this stuff probably should have been taken care of so we didn't have to hear about it before it came here.
This is David Ulrich from Plan. I just wanted to let the CPAC know that we have provided the applicant the surveys sections direct contact information. This is something that we still can work out its conditioning, but it's not necessarily pertinent where we're at right now.
Okay with that?
During the project. And
again, Chris.
That's
Okay. Bob, did you have any Member Bob. Member Reisick, did you have any comments or questions?
I just, if he were to cut 200 square feet off of this house, would he have to go through this exercise? I mean, if he just cut it off the plans and said, this is what I'm going to do, would all of this go away?
That would be to review. So that's kind of where this is coming from. This is not a planning requirement. This is a survey section requirement. And so
he's stuck with it in any case.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you have any more
I'm
questions,
good,
Bob?
Chris. No, I'm good.
This is Vice Chair Chris. I do have one question. In the square footage layout, let me see if I can flip back to that page. The floor plan, page 7. Is the covered porches and patios, is that included in the square feet? I didn't have time to math beforehand, but.
Not included in the square footage.
Pardon?
That is not included in the square footage.
Living space.
Okay.
It's conditioned. So the 1197 is the conditioned interior space.
Okay, thank you. Okay, one more time. Members, do you guys have any questions or comments before we proceed?
I have none.
Hal?
No, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend, or I mean, approve the request for the.
First.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Make it first.
Before we make a motion, do we have any public comments?
Oh,
Stephanie?
This is Stephanie. We do not have any written or verbal public comments.
Okay. Hal, do you want to try that again?
I'd like to make a recommendation for approval on item number 1 for the special development permit for the 1,197 square foot structure.
Can we
I'll second that.
Can we request that they grandfather in the topography map, topographical map?
And add a recommendation. Okay, I'm going to amend my emotion. My emotion, not emotion. Sorry. I'm tired. Anyway, okay, I'd like to recommend that we approve item number 1, the special development permit, to allow for the 1,197 square foot, and also would like to make a recommendation that the topographical map as presented to the county 2 or 3 years ago isn't that what it was? 2 or 3 years ago it was presented?
The topographical map was presented approximately 2 to 3 years ago, and I don't remember the date.
Okay, then let's put, I'd like to make a recommendation or add a recommendation that the county accept the previously turned in topographical map.
And also the subdivision map was filed for it, which included this 6-acre parcel in 1925, and that was approved by the county when it was originally filed. Can you also include that recommendation? That is a legal lot?
So again, this is Chris Bahuli, principal planner. I think I don't have a problem with sort of the way that the CPAC is sort of putting this together, as long as it's a recommendation to the surveys department that they explore, these concerns that you're apparently expressing
Yes.
on this. So, I think that that's fine just to put a suggestion that the surveys department explore these concerns, but
Yes.
just trying to kind of weave this into the recent changes that we've made to the CPAC ordinance and the way that the kind of items that are under the purview of the CPAC for your review.
Okay, that's my recommendation, is what you just said.
And this is Stephanie, the clerk. I also wanted to mention, once you make your motion to approve or deny, all the council members' comments will be included in the action summary. So whether it's part of the motion or not, it is included in the record.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
So we have a motion.
That's my motion.
And Bob, you wanted to second that?
I do.
Stephanie, give it to you to take a vote by roll call.
Okay. So I have a motion to approve from Member Morris and a second by Member Reisig. Member Morris?
Yes.
Member Reisig?
Yes.
And Member McCandless?
Yes.
And motion carries.
Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you for listening to my situation and issuing the recommendation, even though I understand that you guys don't have the authority to make any decision regarding that. At least that's something that the county people can listen to and consider.
Thank you for talking to us.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you and I'll depart for the evening since I think I'm finished. Am I correct?
Okay, stay safe.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Good night.
Have a good night. Stephanie, we want to move on to item number 2.
Yes. Item number 2, 624 West Elkhorn Boulevard Tentative Parcel Map, located at 624 West Elkhorn Boulevard in the Rio Linda, Elverta community. And the request is for a tentative parcel map and design review.
Good evening, everyone. This is Kimber Gutierrez with the County Planning Department. The request before you today is a one-lot tentative parcel map for an agricultural residential 2 zoned property. Next slide, please. Oh, we can skip this slide. Next slide. The property is located, as Stephanie said, at 624 West Elkhorn Boulevard. So the parcel was originally part of a larger lawful parcel. So it includes the existing parcel to the north across West Elkhorn Boulevard. So essentially what happened was this is one parcel, and when Elkhorn Boulevard was developed, it was physically split, but it was not lawfully split per the Subdivision Map Act. So the parcel was sold in violation of the Subdivision Map Act, and no parcel map was ever recorded prior to the sale. So both of these properties are considered unlawful parcels. The current map before you today is to legalize this parcel and to lawfully separate it from its parent parcel, which is the combined of the two. We did, as staff, communicate a number of different options to do this with the applicant, but this was the ultimate decision, and the owner of the parent parcel has provided written consent to the proposed request before you today. Next slide, please. This is the proposed parcel map, so just gives you a little bit more detail. It would be 2 acres in size, which would meet our zoning requirements, and it is the final hearing body for this is the Subdivision Review Committee. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I believe we have the applicants on the line as well.
Okay, this is Hal. Is it so it's two acres of ag commercial, or what is the
It's agricultural residential
ag?
2, which
Okay, right.
the 2 just stands for a minimum of 2 acres.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And is this the same parcel that we had saw an early workshop for last month, or for the proposed gas station car wash?
No, this is not the
find
same. Yeah, this is not the same parcel.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one's Marysville Elkhorn.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions. It's completely baffling to me that this kind of stuff is happening. When Elkhorn was developed, was it the county that came through and split the parcels? I mean, I don't understand how this all goes down without.
It's Bashers, it's Bracers paying all that extra money.
So essentially when the road is developed, it will physically, like on the ground in real life, would split the parcel, but per the Subdivision Map Act, it just wouldn't be 2 parcels technically. It's lines drawn on a map. So the lines were never separated on the map, essentially is what that means. So it does happen.
Okay. Okay. Members Morris or Reisig, do you guys have any more comments or questions?
This is Hal. I'm good.
This is Reisig. I'm good.
This is Vice Chair Chris. I make a motion that we accept as presented. Accept item number 2 as presented.
I second it.
Whoever second, can you state your name, please?
This is Hal Morris. I second it.
I'm sorry, Stephanie, did we have any public comments just before we finalize that?
No, we do not have any written or verbal comments on this item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a
Stephanie, would you
motion.
like to call the vote?
Yes, a motion by Member McCandless, a second by Member Morris. Member Morris?
Aye.
Member Reisig?
Aye.
Member McCandless?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, and with that, we can move on to the next agenda item if you'd like, or if you're ready.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Item number 3 is your annual election of officers for chair and vice chair.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Hal Morris for chair.
I second.
Sorry, Hal, but you got the most experience here.
Maybe. I appreciate it. Thank you. What if I want to decline?
Oh,
I'm not.
you can't do that.
No, I'll take the pressure. It's okay.
Okay, with that, I can do a roll call vote. Member Morris?
Aye. Yes.
Member Reisig?
Yes.
And Member McCandless?
Yes.
Motion passes as the chairperson being Member Morris.
Thank you,
And
guys.
then that brings you to vice chairperson.
I nominate Member McCandless.
I'll second it. Way to get out of it, Bob. That's right. We should make him secretary anyway.
No, they don't have
They don't have that
secretaries anymore.
Clerk.
We'll make you honorary
It's like-
secretary.
Okay, I will do the roll call vote. Member Morris,
Aye.
Member Reisig,
Aye.
and Member McCandless.
Aye.
Motion carries with Member McCandless as your vice chair.
Whee.
Your next item on the agenda is the staff update.
So this is Chris. We do not have a staff update today. Thanks.
And next item on the agenda, council member comments.
This
I
is
have
Hal.
none.
Oh, Hal does, of course. Hey, the one thing, and I've been after the county for 25 years now to somehow try to do this, but like the person we had earlier, or item number 1, this happens, as you guys know, way too often out here and throughout the county, not just necessarily where we have bigger pieces of property, but this disclosure thing, I've always had a problem with, and we really need to do something as a county, as a state, that anybody that sells a piece of property in California needs to do disclosure about the property. And just like my own experience, when I first bought a property here in Rio Linda, it was on Ascot. I loved the well water. I filled my pool with it. I made sun tea for my kids because the water was just super. And I couldn't figure out why I had a well if I was hooked up to city water. Then my first few years, 25 years ago, when I got on CPAC, I found out, oh, the water's contaminated. That's why you don't use the well to drink out of. Oh, okay. Well, that would have been good to be disclosed before I bought my property, wouldn't it have? But anyway, I've been pushing it for 25 years now that a realtor, sorry if there's any realtors in the room, but that realtors need to disclose this type of stuff. I'm sure when this gentleman in item number 1 bought his property, 6 acres, I can subdivide it and I can build on it. That's what I originally myself wanted to do when I bought my first 5 acres, okay? But, build family homes, that kind of stuff. But then you run into the problems like he's having, and it may be a simple problem sometimes, but it could be a very costly, simple problem. And it needs to be changed. We've done things with this CPAC over the last, my 25 plus years with CPAC is tree mitigation. Instead of going out of the county, it goes to our county parks. Irrigation, that when we build a new building, it has to have automatic irrigation. The fencing that you now see down where the car dealers are by the railroad tracks is because of this CPAC saying, no, we want iron fencing there, or we want cinder block for the noise barrier. We don't want, throw up a cyclone fence or a wooden fence, or, hey, I don't care if the next guy has to pay for it, but we have to do something for the people that come to our community, or the moms and pops that can't take care of their 10 acres anymore, and they want to divide it up, and maybe they want family to take care of them for an accessory dwelling, or they want to sell some property so they can give something to their kids. I don't mean to go on and on about this, but I really care about family in this community, and we really got to do something about this because, Ask Leanne. Leanne's known me for 25 plus years now. She knows how I feel about this. Somehow we need to do this, and I'd like to see our CPAC maybe push a little harder with the people that we have now and maybe try to get something done, even if we have to hound the county reps at every meeting. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Member Reisig, did you have any comments?
I did not.
I don't have any either.
Oh, Madam Secretary, Honorary Secretary, did you take notes? That's you, Bob.
Well, Hal, your diatribe was well received, but I think it's part of the ongoing conversation that we're having across the state and various housing issues in various communities.
Yep.
So I don't think we need to stop with the county. I think we need to find out who the people at the state is. I know our Assemblyman McCarty is not part of that. He's interested in other things.
Yeah,
So we need to find the players on that committee and get your thoughts in front of them.
Okay, I got a good friend of mine. You got a good point there. I got a good friend of mine named Doug Ossie. I'll talk with him.
Go get him.
Got a few good friends that are in politics, but I will talk to them. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
All right, I think we're out of council member comments at this time.
Yes.
Yes.
And your last item on the agenda is public comments, and we did not receive any further public comments.
Sweet. So with that, does that mean we can adjourn?
Yes.
I vote I adjourn.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. Well, congratulations, Hal.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let's hurry up and adjourn before Hal says anything else.
Agreed. All right.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Good night.